Welcome back to Ghost Powered Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we talk about the 2021 film, The Candyman.
This is where it all began. The story of Candyman.
Alright, so I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I actually just recently got a job working as a manager at a movie theater. And tonight was the first time of watching a movie that I was going to review at my home theater. And it was just such a blast. So I want to give a big shout out to the crew there at the Lux. You guys know who you are, and you are fucking awesome. Alright, so I just got back from checking out the 2021 film, The Candyman. So I was so worried going in that I was going to enjoy this. And I heard a few little things here and there, and I was starting to really doubt and think, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to dig this because of just some of the stuff I heard. But I was so happy to find out that I loved what they did here.
A couple of kids get razor blades in their candy. Police come around. That's when I saw the true face of fear.
In a lot of ways, they did what the 2018 Halloween did with the original 78 version, because they cut out all those movies in between and really just make a direct sequel to the original. And that's exactly what they did here. And I thought they did such a great job of paying tribute to the original and throwbacks and things to the original, talking about characters, talking about stories, not at all acting like they forgot what happened to the original. No, they actually very much bring it into this movie, but yet bring a whole fresh new perspective and spin, as well as opening up this Candyman universe even more. Man, there was, every time I was worried there was something that they might not do, it was like, bam, nope, there you go. And I was just so happy because there's like almost nothing that I was left wanting more of. Like, they just did such a great job. One of the things I can definitely hear people complaining about, and I do understand that, is the lack of gore. Because yes, there's some kills, but there isn't a lot of gore. There's a lot of kind of cutaway scenes where they kind of cut away from gore, but in a very creative way. And I think it was a creative choice. I think they were trying to do one of those things where it's less is more in a lot of ways, where it's like your imagination can make something even more palpable and painful and more grotesque than even showing it on camera.
Candyman ain't a he. Candyman's the whole damn hive.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They still show gore. There's still blood. There's still gore. It's just not a lot of gore. I think it's probably even toned down some from the original. Also, this is not an extremely scary movie either. This is much more of a mind-twisted, mind-fuck type of situation here, which I very much appreciated. There's a bit of highbrow horror to this, but I don't feel like it got pretentious at all, and I definitely don't feel like it was boring ever. It is a little bit of a slow burn at times, because it really is trying to tell a story here.
If we say his name 5 times while looking in the mirror, we could summon him.
Summon the Candyman.
They're really trying to get across a message. This isn't just a slasher, stupid blood, gore, that kind of thing. This is not that kind of movie at all. And if you're a fan of Jordan Peele, I think you'll really like this, because it very much has that same vibe to it that we saw in movies like Us and Get Out. But I don't ever feel like this movie got preachy or was overly that way either. I felt like it was on par in a lot of ways with the original Candyman, because it deals with social injustice, which is what Candyman is born out of. And this doesn't do anything different from that. So if you were cool with that, I think you'd be cool with this, because it didn't in any way, to me anyway, felt like it was forcing anything down my throat. This to me was such a brilliantly done movie where it was intelligent and it had a story to tell. And it was smart and well-paced and looked absolutely amazing. This is truly a piece of horror art, in my opinion. I loved how this was from the perspective of an artist.
You want to be a part of the story, right?
No.
Say his name.
So just to give you a little bit of what this movie's about, it's about an artist and his girlfriend who moved near Cabrini Green, and he is one of those artists who's had some success, but he's hit this dry spell. And he's struggling for a muse, for new inspiration. And so he just kind of digging around, and he stumbles across the story of Candyman. And it's told a little different than what we've heard in the past, or what we heard in the original one. This is kind of a new twist on Candyman. But don't worry, because it does go full circle, and it does still tie into that original story. So don't worry. But anyway, that's basically what happens. He finds out about the story and starts to become obsessed with it, starts to paint and do art based on the Candyman legend and story, and he just goes deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole. But It's so well acted, so well directed and produced. Everything looks spot on. And the score to this movie is phenomenal as well. I love how at times there's even like this happy, almost like that doesn't quite fit in a horror movie, but there's this creepiness to it.
Candyman isn't real. He chose you.
And then other times it's straight up horror kind of stuff. It just really is all over and really pushes your emotions in all different directions, which is something that a really great score does so well. I love a lot of the cinematography in this, the angles and just the style, the pacing in general, the shadow puppet stuff that they do is brilliant as well. They're able to show these really powerful imagery, but yet by putting it in this childlike way of doing it as these little shadow puppets, it almost makes it even more visceral and even more disturbing. Something else that they did with that was so cool to me is the credits at the very end of this movie. It's like the movie's totally over, but yet you can keep watching because it's more of these shadow puppets and they show and tell even more of this big story that they kind of unveil as this movie goes along. It's just very fun to even watch the credits. And I mean, that to me shows how much care and how much detail went into this movie.
New to the neighborhood.
Because like it or not, I mean, you may be someone that doesn't see what I see in it and just doesn't like it, that's fine. But I think everybody will be able to see the art and the skill and the really love and passion and everything that was put into this movie. Like I said, very detail oriented, just a beautiful piece of art. And I can appreciate that so much. So I had a blast with this movie. I really did. This is the first movie this year that immediately after it was over, I was like, I need to watch this movie again.
You should say his name. I dare you.
Candyman.
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 And another thing, make sure you keep an eye on every reflective surface in this movie because it's crazy. There's little creepy Easter eggs everywhere through this whole movie. Even before anything's really happening, you'll notice these little weird things in the reflections of surfaces, mirrors, you name it. I could gush about this movie forever, but without getting too much into the story and giving anything away, I gotta kind of pull back the reins on it.
I am the writing on the wall, the sweet smell of blood.
I just cannot convey enough to you guys how awesome I think this movie is. I very, very strongly recommend you guys go and check this out in theaters.
Be my victim.
Because it's one of those horror experiences like Don't Breathe 2 that came out earlier this year that I think are a must to see in theaters if you can. This is definitely one that I think will be better in theaters than at home. It'll still be enjoyable, but definitely better in theaters. No matter what, I loved it and I had a great time, and I want to once again thank all the guys out at Lux because you guys are awesome, and thank all of you guys for watching this.
You should say it.
Candyman.
Say his name.
Candyman!
But that's going to do it for me today. Please hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this at least 2 times every week, I also want to give a massive, huge thank you to my patrons because you guys, yeah, you guys mean seriously so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.